Good afternoon, and welcome back to the advocacy of mushroom vape. Today I would like to talk about mycopharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals. Mycopharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals, promising agents to improve human well-being and life quality. I found out just earlier this week that nutraceuticals is a great way to explain mushroom. Mycopharmaceuticals is explaining mushroom as medicinal. And I just found that today, just now. Okay, so the abstract is fungi, especially edible mushrooms, are considered as high quality food with nutritive and functional values. They are of considerable interest and have been used in the synthesis of nutraceutical supplements due to their medicinal properties and economic significance. Specific fungal groups include predominantly filamentous endophytic fungi from Acomycetes phylum and several Basidiomycetes produce secondary metabolites with bioactive properties that are involved in antimicrobial antioxidant activities. These beneficial fungi, while in high protein and important fat contents, are also a great source of several minerals and vitamins, particularly B vitamins that play important roles in carbohydrate and fat metabolism and the maintenance of the nervous system. This review article will summarize and discuss the abilities of fungi to produce antioxidant, anti-cancer, anti-obesity, anti-diabetic molecules, while also reviewing the evidence from the last decade on the importance of research in fungi-related products with direct, indirect, and indirect impact on human health. Okay. I think that sounds promising for a talk. This article is cited 126 times. It belongs to the special issue Edible Mushrooms. It was published in June 2021. And the authors of whom correspondence should be addressed would be Jamil or al-Obaidi, Yuzur Nuraha Jambari, E.I. Ahmad Kamil. Alright, so the introduction. Secondary metabolites, SMs, are essential players in fungal growth and development, and they are actively involved in interactions with other organisms. Recently, interest in fungal SMs production and their function and mode of action drag high attention into drug discovery. Keller, N.P., Fungal Secondary Metabolism, Regulation, Function, and Drug Discovery. Natural Review, Microbiology, 2019. Most secondary metabolites are produced after the fungus has achieved its initial growth phase. The fungal secondary metabolites production process is influenced by the internal and external factors, which includes involvement of many successive enzymic reactions essential for transforming primary metabolites, sugars, lipids, and amino acids into secondary metabolites during the advanced stage of fungal growth. Many during sporulation, virulence, intra and interspecies signaling, defensive microbial mutualism, protects against abiotic stress, and reproductive development and form pigments. It's nice that they cite papers in this writing. Fungal secondary metabolites are either secreted into the environment or remain cell attached by being incorporated into the structural elements within the cell. This could take some time. Besides wild fungi, cultivated filamentous fungi has submerged flash culture, also shown to have high ability in producing functional secondary metabolites. It is intriguing to understand how fungal SMs are involved in distinct functions such as mediating intra and interspecies communication, as well as regulating defense against competitors, nutrient acquisition, and symbiotic reactions. Trends or flows, emergent insights from fungal interaction with plants. Basidiomycetes, a major class of higher fungi, are capable of adjusting to two different growth conditions, which result in its production of a variety of secondary metabolites. In sharp contrast to Ascomycota, Basidiomycota is highly diverse in its production, growth environment, and morphology. Most wild edible basidiomycetes propagate in the host plant roots. However, the rates of germination are low, and only selected species are efficient at colonizing host plant roots by way of sporation. Although the exact number of basidiomyces species is difficult to be estimated, it is agreed that about 14,000 mushrooms have been identified as Basidiomycetes. Biocatalytic portfolio of Basidiomycota, metabolites of bioactivities from higher fungi, in which of these 14,000 mushrooms, 7,000 species considered edible, and more than 2,000 species regarded as high-value edible mushrooms. Within these edible mushrooms, there are more than 700 species that are known to possess substantial pharmacological properties. Edible mushrooms have an exceptional distinctive texture, taste, fragrance, and high nourishing value, and thus becomes highly valuable ingredients in epicure cuisine worldwide. Despite a widespread appreciation for edible mushrooms as a delicious alternative protein source, there are still a lot of concerns about consuming wild fungi, cordyceps, changing us into zombies, be one of them. Currently, there are more than 100 mushroom species that can be cultivated, yet less than 30 species are widely recognized as food, and only a few are commercially produced. Agaricus bisporus, Letinus edotis, Pleurotus, etc., I guess, something like that. And Flammulina velupis. Okay, Agaricus bisporus is your button mushrooms, your cremini, and your portobello, which of course are the same mushroom, it's just different levels of growth. We like the Agaricus bisporus, that's the button mushroom you cut apart and put in your salad. It's basically the same thing as the others do. These are the most cultivated mushrooms worldwide. While China is currently being the biggest mushroom producer, other mushroom producing countries have also increased their production in the last decade. Edible mushrooms are a rich source of distinctive SMs and are not found in other fungi. Besides being natural product chemists as a source of hallucinogens such as Giminophilus junolis mushroom and pigments such as melanin from Ancularia auricula and Dermosides albuminosus. Edible mushrooms considered a food with high nutritive value, and they have been used for a long time as functional food, nutraceuticals, and medical remedies with economic significance. They are considered an important source of essential nutrients as they are rich in protein and important fat contents. Several minerals such as copper, manganese, and iron, and vitamins such as vitamin B and C that are involved in metabolism, carbohydrates, and fats. Even though wild mushrooms price higher than cultivated mushrooms, there is still demand of consuming cultivated mushrooms due to their constant availability. For that reason, they could be considered as an excellent source of many different nutraceuticals, and could be used directly in human diet to promote health. With a large number of fungi having not been cultured and not well characterized, there is still significant work that needs to be conducted to grow uncultured fungi as a potential source of new chemicals, and with the potential of discovery of new SMs with a beneficial use for humans. Although fungi normally produce SMs in minute amounts due to the internal cellular regulatory mechanisms that regulate the low-level production of the amounts produced, is probably sufficient to increase the fungal growth, competitiveness in other organisms, or allow the fungi to coexist with other species macrocosm. Figure 1, schematics overview of edible mushrooms and contribution to human health. Anti-biofilm, anti-MRSA, anti-candida. See, that's an important, this is a very important one here. Anti-candida. Candidosis is the inhalation of fungus. Oh, welcome. Glad you could show up. My partner in crime has just arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Stella. Maybe she'll go over there. Stella. Hi. All right, let's go back to work. I don't want to do that. Okay, so getting back to this, antioxidant, antiproliferative, TPPH, and ABTS radical scavenging ability, B-glucans, triterpenoids, protein, carbohydrate source, vegan microprotein, mycoprotein, triglycerides and LDL lowering effect, antibiofilm, anti-MRSA, anti-candida. Candida argus, or ericus. But anyway, it's the fungus that's currently being found in our hospitals, the nation's hospitals, and they're having trouble to get rid of. Well, my point is, like for example, you have the button mushroom, cremini, and portobello. These particular mushrooms have a high level of anti-candida. So, in a sense, we've been eating all along these button mushrooms. We've been applying ourselves with an anti-candida supplement. So it was just good. I mean, keep eating mushrooms. And this is a advocacy for vape. I would think so, is my point. I mean, it's quick and easy for me to point this out here. But I found a paper this morning I want to read to you guys as well. Maybe not this episode, but in nature, fungi is confronted with multiple biotic and abiotic stressors that range from the competition and or attack by other microorganisms, right? So the myceliums in the ground, and in the ground are other bugs, creatures, microorganisms. Nutrient deficiency to changes in acidity, humidity, and temperature. To maintain their sustenance and reproduction, fungi have developed several strategies for protection and communication, one of which is by producing various types of SMs. These fungal SMs increase the fungal protection against the invasion of predators, parasites, and diseases. They also may be used to compete with other species to facilitate the reproductive process. Like, you know, the portobello will kill other mushrooms around it because it wants the food source. In the last decade, the discovery of new fungi metabolites have accelerated tremendously. However, with millions of fungal species to be identified in the future, there are many years of work to be conducted to increase the percentage of discovery of these metabolites. As an alternative source of natural pharmaceutical products, many compounds are produced by fungi with antioxidant, anti-cancer, anti-allergic, anti-obesity, immune system modulating, cardiovascular protection, anti-cholesterol, antimicrobial detoxification, anti-tumor, anti-inflammatory functions, which is going to be table 1 down below. Okay, but here I'm going to point out this. Cardiovascular protecting, and it becomes an advocacy for mushroom vape. Well, you know, as I was mentioning before, I want to put together a observational study, and within the observational study, 158 lucky participants will get a cigar box with 2 V-Mate E's in it. This is V-Mate E. I know it's a mess. It's not finished yet. And what do they do is they would have a fresh cartridge for everyday use. With it, it's going to be a year's supply. To explain what a year's supply of mushroom goop is generally speaking, a cigarette, or let's say 11 cigarettes a day is your average personal use for cigarettes. So it translates over to mushrooms because translates from 11 cigarettes to the amount of vape for people to utilize in their daily processing of cigarettes in a vape form dictates that 0.09 milliliters is a cigarette. Multiply that by 4,000, as 4,000, 11 cigarettes a day is a year's worth. Does that make sense? All right, so this particular tip has 3 milliliters in it, and it would take That's 20 some odd, 26, is it? I wish I had a calculator. So let's say 3 milliliters, there's 0.09 milliliters per cigarette. Every milliliter has 9 cigarettes. So you have like 27, you know. So that's basically the idea, what we're trying to put together. And you would get 270 of these tips for the 360 milliliters per year is your year's use. If these particular people would like to be involved in it, the donation would be to receive the package, and donations start at $2,500 and above. You can donate $5,000 or what have you, and be a part of this observational study. Why? Because I believe that this is a keeper, advocacy for mushroom vape. Why do I need donations? Because in order to set up a spa, a measurement system, I would need to encourage these people to be involved in it, such as people such as addiction specialists, people such as pulmonology, people such as compounding pharmaceuticals. All right, so, and then from that point on, if they find that they use more than a year's worth in a few months, they could just simply buy another box. It leaves good for the circumstance. But that's fine. See, I'm going to relate everything to the vaping of mushrooms. An extracted form of mushroom. So, many metabolites produced by edible fungi are known to be unique bioactive compounds to be found in the fruiting bodies in liquid culture mycelium. Modern biotechnology research, like omics-based research on fungi, has revealed that many edible medicinal species are beneficial for the inhibition and treatment of some enduring diseases, such as cancer, brain function, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, degenerative nerve diseases. In light of the emerging literature, the objective of this chapter is to compile and more recent evidence about the importance of these metabolites. All right. I guess we can look at this. Okay, so these examples major compounds. Now, for example, my particular favorite is cordyceps, which comes from cordyceps, and that is the analog to adenosine. Hold on. All right, so I almost cut us out. Okay, so let's quickly run through this, and we'll call it a afternoon. Wow. All right. We have active molecules, taxol, which is anti-cancer, meiotic inhibitor, fatty acids, anti-tumor activity, asparfenamate, anti-cancer, hydrofobin, anti-cancer, sarcoma, S180 cell line. Now the FDA reported January, they said, nope, you can't sit there and say it's going to fix cancer. All right, so we're not saying it's going to fix cancer. What we're going to say, though, is we're going to say that this mushroom blend as an advocacy for mushroom vape is a nutraceutical or a mycoceutical. We go down, your Ganoderma is reishi. Now one more, Lignosus rhinocerotis is tiger's milk. Let's go down. Do I know any others? Pleurotus happens to be the oyster mushrooms. And there's just so much of interesting multivitamins, fungal biomass. All right, so you go for the top. What was this saying? Examples of major compounds for fungi and the main potential benefits to human health reported between 2010 and 2020. All right. I mean, so real. I mean, look, reference. You know, because the FDA said it doesn't mean that we didn't do research on it. Here, Kumaran and Jung. In vitro screening of taxol, an anti-cancer drug produced by the fungus, 2011. So down to number 50. All these people, in Tan's here again. All right, characterization of new fungal into immunomodulatory protein from tiger milk mushroom, 2016. Is this the pink one? Let's find out. Diabetic though. Anti-hyperglycemia. And again, Dumar is Mitaki, reducing obesity. You know, so basically by eating a healthy dose of mushrooms, healthy prepared mushrooms, one can pretty much save the American diet. And immune system stimulators. See, a lot of times our immune system is quiet. It is not activated. We have some mushrooms that will activate it. All right, so I'm gonna start up from here, and perhaps the next day we're going to talk about fungi contributions, antioxidant, anti-cancer products, and I'm going to read a little bit more on some of these cited papers. Perhaps I'll cite the cited papers with the same setup in the description. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be an all for today. By the way, Stella is a puppy. Stella Rosa she's a puppy, and she's in training to become my psychiatric service animal. Milo is my current psychiatric service animal. He's at 8 years, almost 9 years old, and he's becoming that guy. So he's going to help me train her, hopefully, and she seems to be an avid student so far. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the next day. Have a beautiful night.